All right, it looks like we are live. Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Alexi. I will be the MC of tonight's game. So we are playing a game organized through the Gauntlet Gaming Community, and the game is called Checkpoint Midnight. In this case, we're playing Checkpoint Midnight Waltz of Treachery, Season 3, Session 3 of 4. So we are getting closer and closer to the end of a quarterly series, testing out this game, Checkpoint Midnight. Checkpoint Midnight is a game about supernatural operatives in Cold War Vienna. You heard me mention the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet is an exciting gaming community playing lots of indie games online. You can learn more about the Gauntlet at gauntlet-rpg.com. You can also follow the Gauntlet on Twitter at GauntletRPG and learn about how to join in on these games if you so desire. We have a Gauntlet Con coming up, a Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend in October. That is where people will be putting up games that are free and open for anyone to join in and play with us. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Now, Checkpoint Midnight is a game about these supernatural operatives moving through the shadows of Cold War Vienna, dealing with conflicting factions, dealing with the great powers, dealing with the mystical underworld of this divided city. You can learn all about Checkpoint Midnight by following me online. I'm Cloven Pine Games is my game design handle. You can check out some of my games on itch.io under Cloven Pine Games. You can follow me on Twitter at Cloven Pine Games. And you can sign up specifically for updates on Checkpoint Midnight by going to bit.ly/Checkpoint Midnight List. That's a capital C for Checkpoint, capital Midnight, capital M for Midnight, and capital L for List. But that's enough about me for the moment. Let's meet our wonderful. So I'm going to ask folks to introduce themselves, say your name, your pronouns if you wish, your online handle if you like to, and anything else that a viewer or listener should know. Puckett, will you start us off?
Hi, I'm Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. Happy to be here tonight.
Happy to have you here. Leandro, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Leandro, UCM pronouns. I guess you can follow me on Twitter if you want to. It's LPONDLC, LPondoc. I'll shout out again that Gauntlet Community Open Gaming Weekend that's coming up in October because it's all really cool. It's all open to the public. Check out a bunch of cool games that folks have put up. Want to play with me, I guess. I put up a game of Good Society using the Lady Susan PI expansion, which is a murder mystery module. That's a lot of fun. So that's there along with a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, check all that stuff out.
Oh, that is a great plug. Thank you. Next up, Mark, please tell us about yourself.
Hello, I'm Mark. I'm also known as Kai. That's XAI, and you can find me online at Kai the Gamer. And are we introducing characters or not?
We'll do characters on our next round. For now,
Absolutely.
just you.
Ready to play, apparently too much ready to play.
Not to worry. Great to have you here. Jesse, last but not least, tell us about yourself.
I'm Jesse. My pronouns are he, him. And it's good to see you all tonight. Excited to play.
Very good. Well, with our lovely players introduced, let's introduce our lovely and dangerous characters. So, Puckett, will you tell us about your Unburied to start us off? What should we know about your character? Oh, and I will share the screen here, so if someone's watching along, they can see who these characters are.
Tonight I'll be playing Jack Hardesty, a man who was raised from the dead, cobbled together from spare parts that apparently the ghouls in the lab had hanging about, stitched back together, reanimated, and left wandering the streets of Vienna with a very unclear purpose. Presumably, I was supposed to resume fighting the war, but the war was over. So now I wander around, and my war is unfinished, because my war is now against the people who brought me back from my well-deserved and justly earned sleep.
Very good. And just to give us a sense, where was Jack most recently fighting this war of his?
Well, I got a dossier tip that led me to Dr. Thorne's lab, where I took his comatose daughter and various lab machinery and his assistant, who's let's see, what was that guy? What was that guy's name?
Brant.
Brant. Yes, I knew it started with a B, but I was thinking Blimey. No, it can't be Blimey. That'd be ridiculous. He'd never do anything that's ridiculous. So yes, Skye was waiting at the dam, and because that was a place where Skye controlled the water, and I was. That was about as far as we'd gotten. I was now actually doing something of a day job, which is an evening job, but a favor for my CIA handler to secure the premises of a building, which didn't go quite as planned. Emilie, and there's a hell horse of some sort approaching outside. So that's fun.
Yeah. I think last we saw you were being confronted by a flame-wreathed nightmare horse headed straight for the mansion.
That's right, the nightmare.
Yeah, the CIA wants you to protect this place, and apparently they were right in thinking it would need some protection. So I'm excited to drop back into that. But for the moment, let's move to our next operative, Emilie. Leandro, tell us about Emilie. Tell us about your artful.
Yeah, so Emilie is, just some ordinary young Austrian woman who got swept up in all the supernatural nonsense by a benefactor who kind of gifted her this weird supernatural luck that has aided her in establishing herself in the Vienna's weird supernatural underworld. It's all working out quite well for Emilie. Well, it worked out better than it usually did. Well, actually, no. Let me redact that. Last session was a session of contrasts for her. She did a rather altruistic thing in giving up that golden apple to Skye to help out Skye's problems, and then she went and murdered someone on behalf of her ex. Kind of didn't clear that up with her conscience, and now she's just exited out the basement of that woman she murdered. Which, to be fair, is a snooty rich millionaire hoarding weird magical artifacts. Who knows what she wants with those? That's Emilie's justification. I don't know if I buy that, but yeah, we left her kind of shell shocked, wandering out of the basement using through a door that she had drawn out of that woman's blood, which is just now that I think about it, how did that happen? And yeah, she just came across Jack as this hell horse is passing by. Sure, everything's gonna be grand.
That's right. I am excited to check in and see where Emilie goes. She's crossed a major threshold here, because I think we established this is the first time Emilie has ever killed someone, and her conscience was pretty upset about it. Her conscience is a small ladybug that follows her around, and at this point is in her purse, just like making like the sounds of a really upset ladybug, I guess. Anything else we should know about Emilie before meeting our next operative?
No, I think that's all good. Yeah, thanks for clarifying that her conscience is an actual thing.
Yes, it's a little creature that was gifted to her by a former friend, another operative from earlier in this quarterly, who passed on a conscience to Emilie, and I guess she needed it, though perhaps she didn't make good use of it. We will see. We'll see. Mark, turning to you, will you tell us about your character, your elemental? You are muted. Sorry.
Once again, I have done that. I was just saying that last time I also forgot my pronouns, so my pronouns are they, them. And Skye McTaggart uses she, her pronouns. And she was in the war as a doctor and had made her way after the war to Vienna, where she was unfortunately strangled in the sewers, and has come back from the dead with a bad attitude and apparently lots of friends. And something had finally gone right for her. Something had actually fallen into her lap, almost literally, as Emilie gave her the apple that she was looking for. But before she could hand it over to Dr. Thorne, she got a phone call, and helping out Jack kidnap her handler's daughter. She took her. She had Jack take all of us to the hydroelectric dam that we created for Vienna, and she's monitoring the patient's life signs when Brant has told her that Dr. Thorne is there with an army. And this is one of those famous last word situations, because she had told Jack to go on and do his day job because she had Brant, and what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong, indeed. And you just made up with the Danube, too.
Yeah, I know. Like, things were turning my way, and now I'm gonna die again. Oh boy.
Well, never say never, Skye. We will check in and find out how Skye holds up under these circumstances. But last but not least, Jesse, will you tell us a little about your operative, your relentless character?
Yes, I am playing Joske, whose pronouns are he, him. He is a Polish-Jewish Holocaust survivor who spent the time after the war taking up causes here and there. Some probably better than others, but he always believed deeply in them. Unfortunately, they didn't get him much of anywhere, and overall, he found them disappointing. And so he sort of settled into what I've been calling Epicurean nihilism. I'm not sure that's right. He's not. He doesn't believe in much, and he enjoys the pleasures of the world. But he does believe in one thing, and that's killing Nazis. Hunting and killing Nazis. He, in particular in Vienna, he's come across a conspiracy of Nazis collaborating with nightmare elves. They seem to have the same overlapping ideas about race and the Romantic European past and the Nightmare Realm and the Fatherland. And so they're going to try and merge the two, the Nightmare Realm and the Fatherland, such that it becomes the very best abode for the master race. It's ugly, nasty, unpleasant stuff. And speaking of Nightmare Elves and Nazis, it turns out that an old friend of Joske's has been suborned by one.
Yeah.
Perhaps because of him, unclear whether he failed her at some point in the past. I think that was sort of what we settled on. That person also happens to be Skye's Soviet handler, so that's complicated. She was briefly unmasked to the crowd at a party.
Yeah, this very party that so much murder has already taken place at.
Just the one murder. I'm sure there's more murder to come.
Just the one murder so far.
Yeah, so far. And that's sort of where we left me. As she was about to, something was about to happen in that big room. I'm trying to remember. Jan Clausen, another possible collaborator, although we don't know whether he's a dupe. I remember. He was going to show his fiance resurrected.
Yeah. And you happen to know his fiance is one of these people who are the hosts for the Nightmare Elves.
Correct. And I had just fled her to come here.
The other thing to note is that you did get poisoned. So
that's right. I was poisoned.
Yes, you kissed Yelena's hand, not knowing that she had it in for you, and a few moments later, the poison started to take effect.
Yeah. I took some stress for that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Great.
bad. Could have been.
I mean, you took some stress. You're still poisoned, right?
Poisoned. I understand. Fictionally, I am still poisoned. Yes.
It's possible it will continue to be a thorn in your side. But let's drop into this then. So outside the mansion is where we have two operatives. Jack was on patrol with his new friend Timothy, another being wrested back from the grave. Timothy a little more like electrical than Jack in the sort of supernatural stuff going on with him that is part of his resurrection, and Emilie had also just stepped out into the vicinity after drawing that blood door and stepping on out here. So Jack and Emilie, both of you see this nightmarish horse with massive bronze-shod feet come charging down one of these narrow cobblestone alleyways of Vienna. It seems headed towards the mansion that Emilie, you have just stepped out of, and that Jack, you have been charged with protecting. Emilie, you've got a lot going on. I want to ask you first, what do you do? You're still holding your knife a little like in disbelief, right? Or you've put that away?
Yeah. I'm still kind of like shell shocked. I've got the knife out. I'm kind of like just holding my purse, kind of like all robotically. The nightmare horse, that's just kind of like a cherry on top. I don't know. Emilie's kind of like a bit is short circuited at the moment. She's kind of like staring into air and then staring at the horse. I don't think even registered her to Jack's there.
Are you trying to figure out what's going on at all, or are you just trying to like pull yourself together here for a moment?
More the latter. She just wants to go home. That's the main thing she wants to do. The nightmare horse is not helping in that regard.
So I have a pitch. If you're hoping to get things together without stumbling right into some new problem here, I might ask you to act under scrutiny.
Oh yeah. That seems fair.
When you're on the back foot and acting with scrutiny, say what you're trying to accomplish and roll without a label. So it's going to be a flat roll, but it sounds like what you're trying to accomplish is regaining a little self-possession.
Yeah. I might even try to put that knife away once Jack's presence registers, but I will roll that. Cool. That's a 9.
Okay. On a 10 plus, okay, on a 7 through 9, the MC will tell you what compromise or hard choice you must make to do it. Great. Yeah. Okay. You can definitely pull yourself together and put the knife away and just get your wits about you. But the little voice from your purse of your conscience is gonna get in your way. So if you can somehow stop your conscience from bothering you, right? You'll be able to pull yourself together. But as long as you're hearing that sad, disappointed buzzing from Constance, it's gonna be difficult to be like fully focused on anything.
Oh man, I don't want to get rid of her. Yeah. I think I'll take that. What is she saying right now? I'm trying to put the knife in the purse, but the conscience is also in the purse.
Yeah, she's buzzing around. She's like, "Oh, you're trying to kill me now, Emilie? It won't. You'll still feel that you've done this, even if you silence me. You won't get peace that way."
I think okay. Here's what Emilie says. I think that snaps her out of it, and she'll say, because I think she knows Jack is nearby, and she says, well, maybe I'll talk to someone who's had experience in actually killing someone. Maybe they'd be a better help than you. And we'll zip up the purse.
Nice. Yeah,
Might have to do something.
there's this angry little Buzz, but she's clearly been like deflated a little by this. So like you've successfully quieted your conscience down and pulled your wits together as this horse comes charging in. Jack, and Emilie, it sounds like you don't want Jack to see the knife, but you are okay with Jack noticing you.
Yeah.
Jack, there's a lot to take in. One thing is Emilie just kind of stumbling out onto the street. One thing is the horse charging, getting closer and closer. And the other thing is Timothy who's pulled out that like electrical baton and is bracing himself to fight this thing.
Is it just a horse, or is there a carriage or anything behind it?
You just see a horse, like a massive horse, like bigger than any horse you've seen. Rippling muscles, wreathed in flame, bronze shoes clanging on the cobblestones, snorting smoke. That's all. That's what you can tell at a glance.
Okay. You know what?
I don't know what. Tell me.
I am going to rip open my shirt to show my scars. I am going to step into the street immediately in front of this horse, put my hand out and yell, "Halt! I am making a stand."
You're making a stand by revealing your scars.
Yes, I am.
What exactly are you trying to sway the horse to here?
Right now, I just want the horse to stop. Maybe I can give it an apple or something. Maybe I can give it a carrot. I mean, there's no carriage with it. It's running through the streets of Vienna. It must have come from somewhere. It obviously doesn't belong here. Why not see if we can get it back to where it's going?
Yeah.
Where it should
like, as you're doing this, Timothy is like, Jack, what are you doing?
I'm
That
pretty
thing
sure
will
that's
run you down.
And I'm going to deliver a rousing speech to the troops real quick. Timothy, this isn't the first time I've dealt with something like this. If it runs me down, you shock the hell out of it and you don't stop until it stops moving, and we'll give it to the French. But until then, just hold up. Give me a moment. Trust me.
Just checking this order of operations. Or do you want to roll rousing speech before rolling make a stand to the horse? Because depending on
I want to roll once more into the breach.
All right.
And also, I think this is actually less making a stand and more man's best friend, but I'm going to go ahead and we can roll man's best friend in a second if it comes down to that.
That's true. You have a whole move for dealing with animals, and it applies beyond your one ghost dog.
Yes, it does.
Cool. Yeah. Let's start with once more into the breach.
That is a 7. That is 9 on once more into the breach. So
on a hit, everyone listening clears all stress, and the first PC to take up the charge rolls with advantage. On a 7 to 9, your own words ring hollow to you, mark as stress. So what about your whole approach here causes you to wonder if this really will work, right? Like what's the like hidden doubt that's not coming through in your confident speech here, Jack?
If you'll excuse my French, it's a fucking horse.
This is fair. So you mark a stress for that.
I did.
And first PC to take up the charge rolls with advantage. Okay, we'll go ahead and say Emilie's close enough that she can hear and take that advantage if she follows Jack's lead on this, and we'll see if that's needed. Does that work?
Okay. So let's.
So it sounds like the speech was directed to Timothy for the most part. Yeah.
Timothy for the most part, but Emily's in earshot. So if you have any stress, you get to clear it.
Wait, all of it?
All of your stress.
If you're listening, Right. Like, so I guess the question, Emilie, is are you listening to Jack's speech here, or are you busy, shutting your conscience up?
I think I shut my conscience up just to listen to Jack.
Okay.
Which is
Well,
what you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
all right. That'll clear that stress. Did you
All
not
right.
have outstanding stress from last time, Jack? I see you're down
Oh,
to 1.
Yeah, I did, but I'm also listening. Does it not work that way?
That is not my interpretation of the move.
Okay.
Sorry, just because.
So it does not clear my stress.
No, it's a bit because the whole point of the 7 to 9 is you clear other people's stress while stressing yourself out because there's a hidden doubt there.
That's fair. All right. So I was at 3 out of 4, and so that puts me at 4 out of 4.
Okay, great. Yeah,
But
so
I'm rolling with advantage.
I'm
I'm making a stand, showing my scars.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, so even though you're rolling man's best friend, but you're taking an
I'll roll
advantage.
man's best friend in a second. This is just, making a stand to make it stop.
I'm for the sake of not multiplying rolls too much, I'm up to just let that advantage carry over to man's best friend because
so
more specific. It's man's best friend is more specific to approaching an animal.
that gives me 2 and a 5 plus 2, so that's a 9.
And 9 on Batman's best friend.
Emilie, is there any way you can help with this? Do you think? Or would that even matter at this point, Lacey?
Oh, to try to take an additional advantage? It's hypothetically possible, I guess. Emilie, do you have some aid?
I just need to get a roll better than a 2.
Yeah, I don't know what she would do. She doesn't do well with animals. She just shut up a ladybug. I don't know how she'd help here. How are you approaching? Yeah, you're showing. You're standing up showing your scars to tame this horse. I don't know.
I mean, you could literally just yell, "You got this, Jack. I believe in you." Or maybe you pocketed some kind of fruit, like a pear or something like that, from the party.
Emilie does like food. We have established this.
But she ran away. She skulked around that party to ruin those wards. I can shout. Yeah, you can do this because Jack can. I'll mark a stress for that.
Got it. Putting all your faith in Jack, giving him that push for one more dice, Jack, and let's see if that helps you.
So if it is better than a 2, it's a 6.
Well, look at that.
That's a 13.
So there's so what you want is for the creature to just like come to a stop, right? It sparks fly from the pavement as it digs its feet in, but it comes to a stop like right in front of you, and you feel it's like strange hot breath on you, as it's kind of like basically staring you down levelly, but it's interested in hearing from this strange man that has stepped out and shown a chest full of sutures and put out a hand and given a command to this steed of nightmare. And I think Timothy kind of mutters, "I really did not think that was going to work," from right near you.
Well, Emilie thought you and I could never become friends, so everybody's full of surprises. And I'm petting the horse's head, rubbing its ears.
Avoiding the flames, or just sticking your hand into the fiery mane here?
I'm dead anyway. Doesn't matter. Undead. You're a good girl, aren't you? What's this about? Why are you running around on these streets?
Yeah.
Look, I know a perfectly lovely place with a proprietor who would be happy to give you apples. Does an apple sound good? Do you know what an apple is?
The horse kind of snorts and like its eyes narrow. It's like almost like looks like a little offended that you think it's its intelligence might be merely that of an ordinary horse.
Yes, you know what an apple is. I bet you know what sugar cubes are. It's got plenty of those too.
As you're starting this conversation with the horse, Jack, you hear a voice, not one of your allies here, but a familiar voice nonetheless. The voice of Death herself, whom you have often turned to for aid. And she says, "Jack, this horse has business to attend to. That mansion is full of those who have defied me, alchemists and dabblers in, well, cheating me. Let the horse be on its way." And she's going to exert leverage. Because over the course of your conferences with her, Death has racked up 3 leverage on you.
Oh, she still has 3? I thought it was down
yes.
to 2 now.
I think it's 3. And what that means is your choices are limited. She's going to give you the option of complying with what she wants, which is to let the horse do its business at the mansion, or brazen it out by marking a condition.
Death, I think we need to be a little bit more subtle than sending a giant flaming black horse into a mansion. If it doesn't kill every single person there, this is the sort of thing that we mentioned. The society pages, if not the front page.
She says, "Jack, I have no problem making the front page. Haven't you been reading the papers?"
Only when I'm in them, darling.
What do you choose?
You know what? I'm going to mark a condition.
Ooh. And which one? Noting that you have 2 conditions you can name that cut against your code names, if that's what you want to do.
I'm going to mark twisted.
Oh, fair enough. Given that, you're so much of your supernatural juice comes from this relationship with Death. If you get on her bad side, it could make sense that could get twisted.
Yeah. I say, Death, you know that I work for you. You know that I do an awful lot of business for you. We need to be just the slightest bit more subtle about this, darling. I mean, I can't very well just chuck a grenade in there, can I?
She pouts a little. She says, "You might wish you had by the time the night's done. Very well." And the little vision of her turns on her heels, and she's gone. You're back, staring down this horse with Emilie and Timothy. Emilie, anything else you want to do here before I probably cut away to one of our other operatives?
No, I think I'm just watching. I don't think I see Death. That's Jack thing. I just see Jack having soothed this horse, kind of like with a bit of disbelief, because again, this is kind of like the cherry on top of this night.
I think we've established that Jack talks to Death out loud, though, so you may hear him like seemingly talking to himself.
Yeah, well, I talked about Ladybug. That's wooden, and what else is new? In this world, I think I pat my purse just to see if Constance is still there, moving or anything.
A slight angry buzz, but it's like a little. It's a little lessened because it just she may be just giving up on you after all of this. Let's leap away to another one of our operatives. Let's check on Joske. You are inside of the manor. you have been poisoned. You can see Jan Clausen has some sort of a demonstration planned as he's pulled a sheet off of the seemingly dead body of his fiance Anna Seidler, and you're there's a bit of a commotion because people briefly saw the mask drop from Yelena Kozakova, and they saw this like iron eagle perched on her shoulders, its wings spreading wide. What do you do?
And I think it's time for me to go full on. Well, here's the question. There's so many choices. I have a fair amount of leverage on Jan. I have
You know some things about what
and
he's
I
up
also
to.
yeah, I also have a bunch of moves that could come in handy here. Well, let's start with that. And I think everyone just saw Yelena with the Iron Eagle sort of first behind her head, and they're probably all whispering like, what was that? What was that about? And they heard me sort of calling out. I haven't faded into red, so I think I run up, and you say that Anna is lying on a table on a what exactly is she?
Yeah, I was picturing like an ornate wood table or something. Like it's not like meant for a body to be lying on it, but it's been repurposed for this.
Is it big enough for me to stand on next to her?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, I hop on. I like make a run for it, do a dash, leap up onto the table. So I'm standing above her. She's at my feet, and I'm probably I'm towering over Jan and as well in the crowd. And I shout, "You saw the Iron Eagle hovering over that woman a moment ago, but you think that was bad. This woman, this body, but what he hopes to bring into this body and what was there once before is far worse even than that." And I roll Unmask the Monster.
Oh, okay. I see. So you're trying to unmask Anna most specifically.
Yeah, I'm trying to unmask Anna specifically, and to sort of like, I sort of like collapse whatever this is before it even happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah. So like you're saying this, Jan is saying like, get him down. He's disrupting the miracle, right? But there's some confusion and consternation all around. Let's see how.
I think I'm shouting, "Your miracle isn't a miracle; it's a nightmare." And then I roll, and I roll a 12.
Wow.
2 5s plus 2.
On a hit, their disguise drops. On a 10+, it's down for good. So tell us what happens. Like what is visible when you pull aside, guise of someone who's been hollowed out and made a host for nightmares here.
So I think a couple of things happen. I think the first thing that happens is the body immediately starts to decay. Back to however long ago it was that the possession began.
Yeah. So it is decaying a bunch, right?
Right.
No longer this perfectly preserved, young beautiful woman lying on the table. Now, sagging flesh and
strong smells. Coriander is I think the smell of coriander sort of it wasn't coriander. It was
caraway seeds.
Caraway seeds, and another C herb. The smell of caraway seeds sort of like disintegrates into this smell of sort of like rotting flesh. I think now the nightmare elf has been sort of banished from this body initially. right? Like that's what happened here. She's in Nightmare. Is that am I wrong about that? I'm trying to.
You encountered like her when you were investigating that other place. So yeah, I think the sense you would get, you know something about how these people work, right? I think the sense you would get is that like she was waiting to be like retaken up by the
right,
a creature that had been puppeting her before.
So yeah, so I think the other thing that happens, tell me if this is too much, is that like out of her mouth and eyes stream a kind of like vapor.
Smoke? Okay, vapor. Yeah.
A kind of vapor, and coalesce into something that looks like a Tolkien elf.
Yeah, tall,
right? Tall, thin,
flowing
blonde,
hair.
Yeah. Right? That Aryan dream. Right? There's nothing. There's but completely incorporeal, right? No ability to interact with the world. I think sort of the ritual has worked to an extent, but she's unable to possess the body.
Yeah,
because I think that's what unmasking looks like.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And
under these circumstances, like meaning if it's not what it would look like if she were present in the body at the time, right? That would be a different. I feel like that would, but because the move just unmasks. But given that she wasn't in control of the body at the time of the unmasking, it disrupts that.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And so we see kind of this. We see this vision, and like everyone sees it too, right? Like there are people like gagging and reacting in shock at the corpse. There are people like staring and reacting in a mix of fear and awe at the like this elf spirit visible in the air, and Jan himself is stepping away. A young man accosts him and says, "You were manipulating my aunt. You have to leave." And Jan shoves him aside and pulls a gun out from his jacket.
So I want now to unfortunately I guess I didn't write down the reason I have that leverage on him.
The key thing was just like knowing he was a key figure in this conspiracy, right? To the city at large, he's a scion of a well-known family, but he's got these nasty plans in the background.
Yeah. I'm trying. So I think I wanna say to him. No, I don't. I just want to shoot him in the face.
You just want to shoot him in the face? That sounds like resorting to violence to me.
Yeah, I think I just want to shoot him in the face. I do have that leverage. Well, no, maybe I'll try to use the leverage to disarm him and then shoot him in the face. So I say to him, Jan, listen to me. It's all unraveling. It's all unraveling. Like, put down your gun. And I think the way I apply the leverage is because I think it was about like my knowledge of his like place in the aristocracy, right? And so what I'm doing is like I'm pushing on him. It's like this is a big status hit for you. Yeah. And do you really want to look all the more the fool?
Oh, I buy it. That sounds like you're putting pressure on an NPC you hold leverage over, so you can roll plus the leverage you hold.
I am, and that is 2. 2 dice. Roll it. I got the exact same thing twice in a row. That's another 12.
Oh, okay.
It was a 10 without the plus, but
A 10 plus, they choose comply grudgingly or gladly, or give you something else that's even more costly to them. That's fascinating. I'm interested in cutting away on that, and we'll see his choice when we cut back. Does that work for you?
Sure.
I'm just before our first bio break, which was coming up soon. I want to check in on Skye, get just a sense of what's going on at the hydroelectric plant. So Skye, you had gotten warning that Dr. Thorne and an army were incoming. Do you do anything to prepare as that as that's happening?
So I think based off of the description we had before, we described that I was on a wide gangplank above the water, like linking two sides of the dam in my mind.
Sure.
That's
yeah.
where it was large enough to have
you were on some kind of a
the medical equipment.
You had set up on something that I described as a catwalk, right? But there was or a catwalk's not quite
sure.
the word for it, but like a metal
That's
thing.
what I meant.
Okay.
Like a metal bridge, right?
Yeah, within this
Okay.
big space that has the big turbines and things.
Okay. And Brant said that Thorne was coming with his army, right? That's what he said.
That's correct.
Okay. I pull out a gun and I point it at his daughter's head.
Goodness.
So wait for him to arrive.
you're threatening your patient as you wait for the doctor. Yeah.
It's complete bluff. Complete bluff. But I don't want to be killed as soon as he walks in. So
yeah, Brant looks extremely uncomfortable with threatening Rosamund. Like he's fidgeting and turning and looks really uncomfortable in his skin. Which perhaps is not surprising given he's this strange cobbled together abomination, but he usually seems pretty sure of his purpose. So you're testing him here, and
do you mean to make a roll
we'll see if you end up needing to, but I think
okay.
there comes a point where you hear noises from all around, and then through like any entrance that exists into this place, figures start coming, and they are strange, ungainly figures. They are partially rebuilt corpses. They have like Jack has that that one metal leg. Several of these have metal arms, or like just a metal box instead of a head, and there's like a little like burning blue fire inside of this box, right? But they're moving in in their own ungainly way, and soon are covering the ground of this whole space, and starting to head up towards you. Are you doing anything to make sure this threat is conveyed to Dr. Thorne, or what? What's the play here, Skye?
So I yell out, rein in your men, or this gun goes off. Well, he probably can't. Maybe he can't see me.
No, I think the intent probably comes through, right? So there's
Right.
there's a pause, like the like a shudder kind of goes through, and each of the and all of the undead creatures that Thorne has sent hold still, and we'll see what happens next in this negotiation. But I'm going to call for our bio break now. So let's take 10 and be back at quarter of.
And I'm back.
Excellent. Okay, looks like we are all back. Great. So I'm going to pick up back at the hydroelectric dam. Skye, you have a gun to Rosamund's head. You have a swarm of these very very cobbled looking undead all around, and you're kind of you've yelled out something in hopes of Dr. Thorne hearing you. The dead pause, and Brant turns to you, opens his mouth, and a voice that's not his, the voice of an older British man, says, "Dr. McTaggart, these antics will cost you dearly. You recall, I'm sure, that I have little Emilie in my sights." And it's clearly Dr. Thorne speaking to you through the mouth of this this creature of his.
Too much of a coward to see me in person, huh?
It's not cowardice, but prudence. Do be sensible. Give her back, and we can return to our prior arrangement. Persist in this, and I will be forced to take drastic measures.
I have the apple. And I can bring her back.
You?
Wow, that was not the insult she was expecting. Yes, me. I'm the one who can make sure that it goes in as a liquid exactly as intended.
Are you exerting leverage here? Like is that the play? Because you're talking to Dr. Thorne, you're putting an offer forward of sorts.
I guess so. I really don't know what I'm doing as a player. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Okay. So it seems possible, right? That making an unexpected offer here could be using leverage if there's like something you're trying to get out of him with it. If you're being sort of totally unexpectedly selfless, I guess this could be an offer comfort, though it's debatable how willing he is to listen. We'd have to see that. And Jack in the chat is suggesting make a stand, which is always a fun option.
Am I fast talking?
Well, if you're trying mostly to like distract or trick him with this, then yes, you are.
Yeah, I just don't know what I would do if I had him distracted. God, Jack kidnapped this girl for a reason, and I have no idea what that reason is. And now I'm sitting here trying to keep him away from her.
Yeah, I mean, tell me what.
Yeah, I'm trying to exert leverage.
Let's do that. So I think you have one leverage on Dr. Thorne, and that makes a lot of sense when you've got a gun pressed to his daughter's head. So roll +1 as you attempt to use your leverage here.
Okay. That would be a 5.
Yeah. On a miss, you've overplayed your hand. They do as they please, and you take disadvantage on trying to stop them. That sounds, exactly right to me. I think Brent looks you over with this unusual, critically appraising gaze that doesn't belong to him, but it's clearly he's clearly acting his eyes for Dr. Thorne. And then the voice again says, "Oh yeah, you can mark XP." The voice again says, "You're bluffing, but I'm not. Take the shot." Emilie, we're going to cut over to you. Would you mind rolling take serious harm for me? Because someone on a rooftop is trying to shoot you in the head.
Cool. Let's see. Take serious harm, roll plus stress. Who convinced me to take a stress to help out with this horse thing? Who did that? All right, that's an 8. Speaking of actually the person who convinced me to roll that stress, do they still
does
care
Jack
too
care
much?
too much? Plausibly, right? Jack, did you decide that you came to care too much about Emilie over the course of our series?
I am looking. Is there any way that I can assist with this to improve the roll?
Yes, you can. You can give someone. You can aid and give someone advantage on a take serious harm roll. In that case, they'd probably be picking the smaller dice after they've rolled that advantage. Now your stress is maxed out, so if you mark a stress, you'll mark a condition.
Yeah, it's a. Yeah, I'll mark a stress to mark it. I'll mark compromised.
Yeah. So let's get the scene here. None of you know what's going on with Skye, right? Like none of you hear the conversations she's having with Dr. Thorne. All that you hear is the crack of a gunshot, and it sounds like Jack, you are stepping in some way to protect Emilie, like push her away if you sense she's the target. I don't know what do you think you're doing such that you're. I
think I see the glint of moonlight on glass on a rooftop, and I just dive at Emilie to knock her to her feet, to take her off her feet.
Nice. Okay, so Jack, you're taking a condition as you dive at Emilie to help out. Emilie, we'll see how much that helps. Roll one more dice, and you get to choose between the 3 you've got. Oh,
well, I rolled a 5.
So sad. That is not the advantage dice you want. No.
No. So yeah, I'm still sticking on the 7 to 9.
Is there any way that I can just take that hit? Any move that allows me to do that?
To just take the hit for her?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You've started to care too much about her. So even if yes, or did we establish that or no?
It's not on my character sheet anywhere. I think I would have noted that.
Well, the thing is, I care too much about you. So if you take the hit, I'll still have to roll anyway.
Oh my goodness! This is why caring is such a danger, everyone.
Too much.
You know what? We can say you put you get yourself in the way and are the one that takes the hit, and then Emilie's blow will be primarily emotional.
But that means Jack will still have to roll, or at least just take that hit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that if your intention is not just knock her out of the way, but get in the way yourself. First of all, definitely gonna hit your sacrificial release move. Secondly, I'll just give you the results that Leandro just rolled for Emilie's take serious harm.
Okay, and what is that? What is that result?
That's a 9.
Alrighty, and take serious harm 7 to 9.
You take your licks. Choose one from the take serious harm list.
Okay. Well, I already marked the condition, so I guess I'll mark 2 stress.
That works for me. Yeah. So like, what you've pushed Emilie out of the way, and like the bullet just like buries itself in you somewhere, and you're like, so some of the stress is like, are there more guns waiting?
Yeah.
What else is going on? Because you can't die. You are
I'm already dead.
immortal at the moment, but still, it's a tough situation. Emilie, you see Jack like push you, take a bullet, perhaps stumble or at least like seem hurt a little. Roll a take serious harm for the emotional blow.
Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. I still got an 8. I've got a lot of conditions to burn.
Yeah, because you've got your codename conditions as well.
Yeah. I think I'll take blunted because I just kind of like I didn't see the shot coming, but Jack did. And also like I'm not in a state to like fight back. So I I'll take that. I think like I'm I get knocked down and I see Jack take that shot.
Quick interruption.
Figuring out how stress works.
Yeah, Jesse's raising the question. I thought that stress dropped back to 0 after you take a condition.
It does not. It stays full until you do something to clear it. However, you can clear at least one because of your sacrificial release move, I believe. Because when you put yourself in danger to protect someone, you can choose to clear a stress.
To clear one stress?
Yes.
Yeah, that's underpowered. I'll take the XP.
Okay. The situation out here, is clearly devolving. Timofey is yelling, "We're under fire! Get to cover!" Right, and is like, grabbing Emilie and like, dragging her to behind a pile of rubble or something. Right, like, it's a post-war city. There's all kinds of stuff just lying in the street. Jack, he figures, will fend for himself. Emilie, are you going to cover? What's your plan, given that there's a nightmare horse and suddenly there's shots ringing out?
Yeah, I think Timofey dragging me into cover shocks me back and like, wait, well, God, this is such a weird night. I think that kind of like brings me back. I kind of like look over where we're like, over or at least around where we are, just to like try and decipher what the hell is going on.
It's fair. That's fair. Just trying to decipher what's going on makes a lot of sense. And this is just an operator decipher, sounds like, where you're relying on your natural senses and your spy experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Roll plus operator.
That's an 8. 6 plus 2.
Okay, you get to ask one question from the decipher list.
Yeah. Man, a lot of these questions could apply. Okay. What? Okay. This depends on whether I want to like figure out what's going on or like want to like get this done. I want to figure out what's going on. What danger am I overlooking?
We're saying that the sniper on the roof is no longer a danger you're overlooking since you've gotten nearly shot?
No, I think Emilie was just trying to figure out like where the sniper is and if there's anything else, going on. Feel free to like you don't have to pile on an extra thing.
No. Yeah, that's fair. You're taking a look around and like as you've shifted, you see the figure on the rooftop move. It's clear there's one sniper and they're tasked specifically with keeping a gun on you, and like maybe you even catch like they've like got like a walkie-talkie pressed to their ear or something. So it's clear that there's someone being given orders to like take the shot at you, but there's just the one up on these roofs.
Okay, yeah, I think if I remember correctly, Skye told me that someone was after him.
Yeah, she showed you maybe the like pictures with like, you know, your head in the crosshairs.
Yeah, I think I say to Timothy, um, I think you're not alone in the fan club that wants to kill me. Timothy, they're here specifically for me.
He curses in Russian.
I think she kind of looks where Jack is. I'll draw their fire and you fire on them. If
You're running out there with a sniper aiming for you? You really trust you got the devil's own luck, huh, girl?
Well, I'm trusting you on this. The luck's just accessory.
All right. What are you doing? Like if you're running out trying to draw the fire of someone on a rooftop, do you feel that's a move in particular, or should we just, you know, keep following the fiction here? Like, do you have something you're trying to trigger?
Not specifically a move. I think I am trying to I am trying to press on my luck. This is gonna be the second time Emilie's gonna actively try to press on that luck.
It's get spooky then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, really. Like, so you're hoping you can run and just like not get hit, but keep the fire of this person and create an opening.
Yeah, that was a 12.
So like, so give me a few of the shots here. Like, what does it look like as Emilie is just like running and like, you know, like very barely not getting hit by you know, bullet after bullet, and like, you know, evading shot after shot here somehow.
Yeah, I think in Emilie just kind of like, I think I remember correctly when she tried to exert this last time in Checkpoint Midnight of all places. It was kind of like trying to feel out like this energy, like all these probabilities, and just nudging it. I think this time Emilie's just gonna like, fuck it, and we'll just run, and we'll just trust that whatever it is that she has, we'll nudge it for her. I think she's running towards Jack specifically. Yeah, I think.
And you reach Jack. You have to choose one from the Get Spooky list, but it kind of feels like you've drawn attention and made yourself a target.
Yeah.
I just think that was the like literal effect of the action you were taking. So if you're good with that, you don't need to do either of the others. And like,
yeah, I think that is exactly what I'm doing.
You make your way to Jack, and then like, you know, glance over your shoulder and see like an arc of lightning arcing up from Timofey's hiding place. You know, strikes the roof, and like there's a, you know, strangled you know, yell, and like the sound of a gun, you know, clattering down. Timofey got him.
Yeah, I think I'll reach up to Jack. I kind of like reach out to where he's lying, and it's just I didn't think that would work out. Are you okay, Jack?
I'm peachy, love. Look at me. I've got a flaming horse as a new friend. I'm lying in the middle of the street where I took a bullet for you.
You're gonna have to teach me how you make friends. You're really good at it.
You know, you wouldn't think that I would be, but it just seems to be my calling. Maybe I should have been trying this all along instead of shooting people.
Emilie, my question is, are you offering comfort to Jack here?
No, it's more of a quip for the time.
That's fair. Jack, your watch starts blaring, and there's a voice that's unfamiliar to you but familiar to Emilie on it. A tired-sounding American male saying, "Agent Deadman, things are going wrong inside the mansion. There's a change of plans. We need someone in there to take down the wards so we can send in reinforcements. Our other agent has failed. We need you to go in, take down the wards. They're magic-looking stuff above the doors.
To do what? Do you not know that things are pear-shaped outside the mansion? I've already been shot by a sniper out here. And who the hell are you?
This is Agent George Dixon. I'm assuming command of this mission from your handler, and he says,
Like hell you are. I trust Trip. You're a bloody voice on the phone.
Bradley's right here, and you hear like Trip like sounding kind of forlorn, saying, "I'm here, Jack. All going a little differently, but we can still recover things. Agent Dixon is leading the charge." Emilie, you of course know George Dixon, your handler, and so it's a little surprising hearing his voice come out of Jack's wrist, but you're probably putting some of the pieces together.
Fine, get the civilians out of the room. I'll take care of it. But I warn you, it's going to be messy and loud.
That's all right. We'll blame the Soviets.
Come along, Emilie. Here, take one of these. And I hand you a pistol. I know you've got another one. Just shoot anything that looks like a ward. Or that looks like it needs shooting at this point, I suppose.
Yeah. I know what those words look like. Yeah, sure.
Emilie, are you
get up onto the horse?
Wait, what? You get up onto the horse?
I am mounting the horse.
Oh my god.
Holding hand down to Emilie.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Are the two of you just riding into this mansion aboard on the back of a nightmare horse?
Yes.
Infiltrate a restricted area, but you can take advantage because of your nightmare horse.
Wait, we actually have to infiltrate? I thought we were just going to knock the doors down.
Well, that's a sort of infiltration. It's a infiltration with your weapon stat.
Having a horse kick the door down is an infiltration. Okay, I got you. So weapon is 2.
And advantage for the horse.
Oh, and with it, well, it doesn't matter because I got a 10 on 2 dice. So
okay, great.
Do you want me to just like roll another one? I might roll another 6. Yeah, I might roll another one. See what I get. I got 3, so it's an 11.
The mansion is well and truly infiltrated, right? As like the big double doors go smashing down. The guard Joske spoke to earlier is just running, right, like flinging himself away as the two of you are entering aboard. On top of this horse, you're gonna land in a position of strength. So we'll see what's going on there. But I wanted to check in with Joske before the party is further crashed. Joske, you had put some pressure on Jan Clausen, trying to get him to drop his gun. And you rolled well. So it's a 10 plus where he has to choose to comply or to give you something else that's even more costly to him. I'm going to go with the latter option. So he says, like, looking up at you.
Okay. He still has his gun trained on me.
He's not pointing at you. He like lowers the gun.
Okay.
He says, I'll hang on to this. Thanks. And then like gestures around. These are not your people. You may think this is your fight, but believe me, you don't understand what's going on here. Walk away from this, and there doesn't have to be bad blood. I can get you, and it's clear it's a wrench for him to say it, I can get you honorary Aryan status.
Oh, fuck. I just shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that. Is there a roll there?
Yeah,
I was going to ask you what the consequences would be, but he says something like that.
He's a foe who can retaliate. He's got a gun. He's got who knows what sort of magic on him. So you do roll to resort to violence, but you're standing above him. You're just like shooting down at him. So I think you're gonna hit, but let's see what other consequences there might be.
Okay, so roll plus weapon.
Yep.
That's a 6.
So how can you tell that the poison is taking greater effect and sapping your edge as you attempt to engage here?
I think it's I think I can't. My finger won't close on the trigger.
Oh wow! Like just can't quite happen.
I mean, it's a miss, right? Like that's and there's not really another explanation for what happens here. So yeah, I think I just
he sees you train the gun on him, and then sees you fail to shoot, and like he takes a shot, but like Ambrose is like tackling him, so like what was clearly like meant to be a kill shot is just going to wing you. But please mark a condition.
You got it. You got it. Sorry,
I'm gonna say I really love that sleepwalking is your condition that cuts against your code name. Not that you have to mark that, but that's a cool name for a condition.
Yeah, I felt like it fit, I'm asleep either way, but in one I'm the master of the dream world, and the other I'm just kind of like awake. I'm like moving through in a shambles. I think I'm blunted. I think that's the condition there.
And like so Jan hits the ground, but he's like muttering something in Old Norse, right? And there's like clearly like arcane energy starting to swirl around as smashing into this place come Emilie and Jack aboard a nightmare horse, and like the scene you see is Joske standing above a rotten corpse with like kind of like swirling around him this wispy elfin ghost, and the members of the Noble Order of the Silver Eye starting to like panic and run, but suddenly blocking their way, keeping them from stepping out, are those suits of armor that were standing all around. They're suddenly animating and like stepping in the way, keeping people from evacuating. Jack, what's the play? You've made your entrance, and anyone who's still got like enough of their wits about them to like spot these newcomers are like screaming and backing away from you.
This situation seems like it calls for grenades.
Where are you applying these grenades, Jack?
Liberally. And in most directions.
Is the idea to like bring the whole place down? Like what?
I shout at him. It's a room full of goddamn Nazis. Kill them all.
Wow.
I just reach out a hand and I pull Joske up.
Okay, and, you're charging over to the table to like grab him up there.
And I'm like shouting. I'm like ranting at him about all of this. Like they were gonna bring her through. I stopped that, but and
Shut
I'm
up
like
and shoot. You can explain later.
Hand's not working, but I want to hit release. I want to hit prophetic there, if that's cool.
Okay.
Which is impress on someone the dangers of the conspiracy.
Yeah.
That sounds legit to me.
I'm gonna take XP.
Yeah, if like Ambrose, who's like struggling on the floor with Jan, hears that, he'll yell, "No, it's not all of us. We're."
Can I have the nightmare horse crush his head?
Whose head?
Either, both.
Very plausibly, Emilie, if Jack's aiming to just ride down, Jan and Ambrose indiscriminately, are you going to let that happen?
Well, I don't know Jan, so I
yes,
but
but you know Ambrose a little bit.
Didn't you just murder his mom?
A little.
His aunt.
His aunt. Excuse me.
His aunt. Yeah. I think it is out of Emilie's hands, especially with Joske such they're all Nazis. And look, this spares Emilie an awkward conversation about having murdered his aunt if he's also dead. So
there goes Emilie, always looking on the bright side of life.
Okay. So no words of protest from Emilie. Jack, roll to resort to violence.
And also, I would like to try to hit shut up and shoot for Jack in this circumstance. I think qualifies as offer comfort and support. So can I roll that for Joske?
So the first thing we're checking is whether Joske is willing to listen to an offer.
Can you explain what that means? Like, what are you doing exactly? What's the?
Well, I've tossed you a shot. I'm tossing you a shotgun and saying, "Shut up and shoot."
I mean, honestly, if you're going after Jan, I'm accepting that as comfort. Like, okay. I think that I think I have to drop the shotgun, right? Like right now, my hands aren't really working.
Both hands aren't working?
That's a good question. I'll try the other one. In the meantime, yes, I will. I'm willing to accept comfort in the sport in the guise of violence against my enemies. Yes.
Is that fair, Lexi?
Yeah. Sorry, I was muted. A comforting shotgun sounds, plausible to me, especially for this group of characters. So, Jack, roll plus Dreamer to offer comfort.
That is 8 + 2. That's a 10.
You are both steadied and can clear a condition or a stress.
Amazing.
Clear a condition. Person you comfort.
Yep. Oh, now I'm definitely going to be able to use that shotgun.
This is loud enough that I think I'm probably still compromised, but I'm no longer twisted.
You're untwisting yourself here.
Yeah. I mean, my cover's kind of shot at this point, if anybody gets through this. So, let's resolve the horse, stomping a mud hole in Jan.
And it sounds like you are not trying to keep the horse, from destroying Ambrose either.
Now that Joske has yelled, "They're all Nazis," I am being non-specific as to where I apply my violence.
Roll to resort to violence against, it sounds like, this whole mansion.
9 + weapon is 11.
What options do you pick from the resort to violence list? It sounds like there are grenades flying around. It sounds like there is, a nightmare horse running people down.
Instead of exchanging blows, I hit them and avoid their blow.
Okay.
I don't end up entangled or caught. And then there is always that third option because of war is hell and I love it.
And you're certainly causing
collateral damage to choose an additional option. So yeah, I am totally willing to bring this entire mansion down in flames at this point. To select a third option. Do you think that the collateral damage is sufficient to take out the wards, or do you think that I should select taking something away from them to deal with the wards?
That sounds like that sounds legit, right? To say that you take away the protection the wards offered by noting where they are, tossing a grenade right in their direction, and once the wards are fragmented by a grenade, they're not going to do much good.
Okay, so, and in the process, we're doing major collateral damage, which means there's probably priceless works of art being destroyed, and whatever. It was some dead painter anyway, and who the hell remembers? Was it Giacomo or Giacometti or Giono or who can remember?
There's a whole hallway full of paintings by Marcel Mignard in this mansion that Lady Aurelia was hoping to acquire the latest at that art auction where everything started back in the day, but looks like you're devastating her collection here. Emilie, it sounds like you're interested in sneaking something out of this carnage.
Yeah, I think there's just a point where she kind of has to look away from all this nonsense that's happening. It's been a long day. So she has a move called Leisure de Main. I don't know. You take advantage. Sleight of hand. When you take advantage of a distraction to liberate the personal effects of an individual or a crowd. With operator. Yeah, I think while from horseback, yes, absolutely. That's a 6, so that's great. Wonder who on a 6. On a miss. Let me see, where is it?
You still pocket some loot, but someone catches you red-handed. Prepare for the worst. I have a sense of how this goes. I think like you're grabbing at things. You like lean down and grab something from one of the like bodies on the ground, right? And a hand comes up and grabs yours. You're holding what looks like a snow globe. As luck would have it, you maybe found that one thing you had been tasked to get from here, but like grasping onto your hand, Ambrose stares up at you, like blood trickling from his mouth. He's clearly not long for this world, and he says, "I can't believe I trusted you." Market condition.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think I will mark compromise as I kind of just like give him this like thin smile, and says, "We're thieves, we're scavengers, we're looters. Why bother trusting any of us?" And then I headbutt him.
Okay, yeah. Then he like slumps back unconscious, and you don't predict he will make it out of this burning building as the corpses are kind of piling up all around. I say let's cut away from this utter destruction raining down on this house and check in with Skye. Skye, last we heard from you, you had been trying to twist the arm of Dr. Thorne. He called your bluff and called for a hit on Emilie. There's quiet for a moment after if you heard in coming out of Brant's mouth, Dr. Thorne's voice say, "Take the shot."
So as soon as he says that, she assumes that the shot's going to hit. She's not right. She's not going to wait for it,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just because she cares too much about Emilie, and she's yelling no really really loudly, and it's kind of like Carrie but with water. Tippus collar activates, and the water's going to take away something from me that it thinks it wants to go away.
Yeah. Call on your element to aid you. The element takes away something it thinks is bothering you. Yeah, so I think like the Danube surges up, right, and like in kind of little mini typhoons, sucks down and deep into its depths each of the undead creatures standing around here, right, just picking off Dr. Thorne's army in kind of rage, right? White water everywhere, and the hydroelectric plant is taking a beating too, right? Like the place was not built for this sort of tempest.
Right. I am holding, like, I'm putting myself on top of Rosalind, but I've got an arm out for Brant, and I'm like trying to save him,
to pull him away, keep him from being like dragged away by the current.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sounds like maybe so. Unless there's a different move for it, I might call for an offer comfort. As you're offering the comfort of protection to your ally here.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. Offer.
That's a dreamer roll.
Comfort roll dreamer. Okay. My dreamer is a 0. Okay. Wow.
So, first of all, mark XP.
Yeah. It's a 3 for all y'all watching from home. So.
I think like the like Brant is like reaching for you, and then the voice of Thorne comes out of his mouth one more time and says, "Don't think this is going to be this easy for you," right? And then you see like Brant like grab at his chest at that like strange stone heart that Jack had seen last time, and it's like he like doubles over, like you've seen yourself be like damaged from afar by Dr. Thorne's control, and then like he's struggling with something, but then he loses, and takes just a swing at you with this massive pale fist. Roll to take serious harm.
Okay. Let's see. My stress is currently, wow, it's just a 1.
That doesn't sound right. That sounds crazy.
Right.
Well, let's see how you do on this.
Do I mark a condition from the 6 minus or anything like that?
Let's say yes. Why would I not have people mark conditions?
Okay.
It
seemed like a pretty common reaction for the 6 minuses. So.
This is the session where I pull out all the stops on conditions and see what you do.
Okay, I'll take blunted on that one. Even though that's my best stat. All right, so that's 2d6 plus 1. 5. Okay.
Oh, okay. How do you weather the blow here? Go ahead. Tell me.
I think as like Brant like goes for a haymaker, like the water hits him, and I think he grabs onto the railing, and he's not like knocked over or anything like that, but the water is trying to take him away from me. And so he just kind of whiffs in the front of the air as I'm like holding my eyes closed, waiting for the crack of bone.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like the like Danube is intervening here and just washing everything away that's in this place. Yeah.
Except for me and Rosalind, hopefully.
Okay. So you're hoping that at the end of this you are left unaccountably dry with just your patient and an empty dam.
I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
No, that sounds right to me because Brant is getting pulled away too. You tried to offer comfort and it was it was unsuccessful. The doctor intervened, but yeah, I think when the water starts to subside, it's just you and Rosalind left. Though there's warning pings coming from the machinery attached to her because it does not like having been partially submerged.
Right. I don't know how I pulled that off, she says. She slumps for a moment, down to her knees. God, I hope she's alive. God, I hope she's alive. Is what she's talking about Emilie.
Oh. Should we cut away there? Is that it? Do you have more to try to do at the moment, or do we want to cut to some more kind of aftermath?
Well, I did take a move called Patch 'em Up.
Ah.
And I was wondering if I could somehow make that work with the Apple and Rosalind.
Yes. Yeah, when you tend to an injured or unwell patient, roll plus fable. If the patient is unwilling, mark a stress. I think there will be a stress because she is comatose and unable to cooperate with you. But yeah, you can try to tend to the doctor's daughter here.
Okay.
Is the idea that you're just trying to pull the juice from this golden apple that is supposed to be restorative?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, tell us a little about what that looks like, and then let's make a fable roll on it.
Sure. What does that look like? So I concentrate on the apple for a little bit. I'm staring at it. I've got it in my hands, and I'm just trying to sense all of the water within it, the liquid within it, and I'm trying to get it to pool into one reservoir, and then I'm going to stab it with an IV needle, and then stab the other needle into Rosalind, and hold the apple above her and watch the golden liquid flow in. And I took a stress. I'm rolling with Fable. Fable is a +1.
Mm-hmm.
Survey says that's an 11.
Wow. Okay. So your administrations have their intended effect. I think you're choosing the patient is cured of a condition. In this case, the condition of comatose, right?
Yeah.
And on a 10+, you learn a secret of the patient in the process, gain leverage over the patient. I mean, totally makes sense that you would gain leverage over her as you revive her. I guess the secret is because you have this connection to water, so you hear the feedback kind of the glorious golden sap of the apple as you're jabbing it into Rosamond. The secret is she's been like this since she was cursed by one of the many gods or angels or demons that her father had stolen from in his his initial pursuit of the secrets of life everlasting. And then since then his focus has been leveraging whatever resources he has to find a cure for her. And she's on some deep level sad for this this quest her father has been on for these years, but now at last she actually is restored, sort of due to his efforts, but mostly due to you. So she comes blinking awake and says, "Thank you."
Don't get up. You're still very weak. we've only got a little while before your father's creatures come back for me. How do you feel?
Alive, she says, like that's the most surprising thing you could possibly feel.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go through some checks with you, and then we've got to get out of here.
Nice. You're like running down like a just a medical checklist.
Yeah. Basically, I'm just seeing if like she's got any like nerve damage or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. She
Yeah.
she checks out. Let's take a little break now, and then when we come back, we'll get to see the aftermath of death and resurrection in different locales in this city. Take 10 and be back at quarter of. All right.
think we're all back.
Yes, looks like it. I think probably we can kind of, have a little montage showing the day breaking over Vienna, and there's a there's a hydroelectric dam that has been flooded, right, and there are workers scratching their heads as they do their best to patch up the very strange water damage pattern. And there's a smoldering wreck in the middle of the British sector where a mansion once stood. Probably there's newspapers saying mysterious fire at Lady Aurelia, Falkirk's home, dozens dead, police investigating, right? And somewhere in the article are British authorities saying they've received a tip-off that a Soviet agent was to blame, but all of this is rumor and speculation. For our operatives, I'd love to know what it looks like as you perhaps regroup at checkpoint midnight. Is that the is that the play here?
If you don't mind, can I drag Emilie and Joske to the cemetery that I always go to first?
Emilie and Joske, would you accompany Jack to a cemetery?
That depends how badly I'm poisoned.
Yeah, you are somewhat poisoned still. You've been sort of forcing yourself through, right? Like gritting your teeth and pushing past it. But like there was
like if the adrenaline is keeping it like from really getting to me, then sure. But if I'm feeling it hard, I think I need to get to the checkpoint, to the clinic. So that's, I guess, an MC question.
What if we take the back alleys and patrol them on the way to the cemetery?
Like, I'm not actually, to be clear, I don't actually need anything cleared in mechanically, but fictionally, I'm poisoned.
Yeah, it's so funny. You got rid of your conditions with a shotgun, but that doesn't actually cure poison. We can
that move wouldn't fix the poison either.
Are you sure that double-aught buckshot doesn't do that?
So here's my thought.
I mean, I guess if I put it in my mouth, the poison would be
the least
would be cleared up.
We could hand wave this a little, right? Like if you want, we could say Joske's first stop after all this chaos is the back entrance of checkpoint midnight to see if they can find an antidote in the clinic, right? And then if there's something else you want to do before dawn breaks, we could fit it in.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like, I just want to make. I'm fine with whatever. I just wanted to check with you to make sure that I wasn't going to fall down dead of poison or whatever, and take an extra condition for going to the cemetery instead of getting
medical attention.
Medical attention, yeah.
I think we can say, like, give me just the what does it look like as Joske is making his way out of the infirmary, having probably refused further patching up for whatever other damage he's taken, but just gotten someone to do a blood test and get him something to counteract whatever agent.
Awesome.
With there.
Awesome.
So cemetery. And I think we just ride the nightmare through the streets of Vienna, clopping away.
And if somebody wakes up and looks out their window, they assume they're dreaming.
I mean, I assume at this point the nightmare just looks like a big dark horse.
You think it's taken on a more incognito appearance?
Yeah. Also, I'm probably talking to Death as we're riding. We square.
Yeah, she kind of Yeah, you're catching. You're riding along, so like you're basically like seeing her like reflected in a series of windows. So you get like almost like a stop motion thing. Joske, are you gonna roll old friends on death?
Not if it's a private conversation, but if death is present, you know it.
You have
think it'd
this
be funny
connection
to do
to the
so.
realm of night. So perhaps you, of all the people riding along here, might catch a glimpse of death as she appears to Jack. The thing is, her appearance to Jack is, as we've now learned, based on Rosamund Thorne's, right? So what does death look like to you, Joske? She may not look the same.
I don't think she ever looks the same to me twice. I think I have stared her in the face a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
In different contexts, and sometimes she looks like my little sister, and sometimes she looks like a comrade in a war, and sometimes she looks like my uncle or my best friend. People I've seen die, people that died or were brought to death near me. There's been a lot of them.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. Yeah, so she's kind of weighing Jack's question. She seems, she seems perhaps somewhat mollified, but still, not totally happy with the way you put her off earlier, Jack. Have you made the? Oh, how was the roll, Joske?
That was a 4. She wants me dead. 3.
Yeah. So like Death says, no, Jack, you're not square while you continue to ride alongside those who have and left me begging. This is justice that must be served sometime or another, and preferably soon.
Well, who the hell do you want me to kill now?
She arcs her eyebrows at Joske. She's not putting she's not exerting leverage at the moment. She's just putting out there.
I was so much happier when I was dead.
There are many who feel that way. I do my best. Emilie, I think you're only picking up one half of this conversation, though.
Yeah, I think the adrenaline is kind of like of the night has kind of like ebbed away, and she's gonna come along with the cemetery, but she's more interested in going home.
Do you? Yeah. So kind of we'll say you three are able to reach the cemetery, astride your nightmare horse. I guess besides kind of looking out at the graves and otherwise following Jack's lead here, Emilie, do you check on either your conscience or your little black book from Victoria,
or Ashley's grave for that matter?
Oh right, yeah. Skye, you helped to set up Ashley's grave, didn't you?
Yeah, I buried her under a tree.
That would certainly make sense
Or
to be
at the base of a tree.
Yeah. Was it in or near this graveyard? Since I remember you came with Jack to the graveyard once too. Yeah.
It was in this graveyard. Yeah, we had her cremated, but I think she's buried at the base of the tree.
Absolutely.
Is my memory of it?
No, that sounds right to me. Yeah. So Emilie, Ashley's conscience, Ashley's grave, Victoria's mission, Victoria's book. what do you turn to, if anything?
I think in the cemetery, I'm gonna walk myself to Ashley's grave, and open the purse, hold out a hand to the purse, and just say, "You've not had a chance to visit Ashley for a long while, haven't you?"
Aw, are you offering comfort to the ladybug?
Yeah. That nothing can go wrong from that. Can it? Apparently, nothing can go wrong because I rolled a 10.
Constance like flies like a little hesitantly, but she flies up out of your purse and she lands on the grave, and kind of buzzes her wings and sighs and says, "I miss her."
Yeah, me too.
On a hit, you are both steadied and can clear a condition or a stress.
Well, yeah, I'll clear one of these. Probably I'll clear compromise.
You also, on a 10 plus, take leverage over the person you comfort. So you can take leverage over your own conscience, Emilie. I'm sure that won't go wrong.
All right. Okay, let me replace this Valentine column. Not gonna need that anymore. Yeah, I think. Oh, that should be crossed out. I think I'm gonna. Emily's gonna kind of like take a knee so that she's closer to like Constance, and say, "I'm not Ashley. That's quite obvious. But I don't want to make it feel like I haven't appreciated that you're with me. After all, she chose to give you to me. I don't know whether that's a compliment or an insult, honestly, but I don't care.
She thought the world of you, Emilie.
Well, she thought a lot of things. I don't know if she would have thought the same if she'd gotten to know me better.
The ladybug like lands on your shoulder and says, "I still believe you can do the right thing, Emilie. But you're going to have to turn over a new leaf. You understand that, right?"
I think I mean, like, just chuckles a bit. It's just, I'll be honest, Constance. Is that something you really want, or is this something you think Ashley wants? What do you want?
Like buzzes uncertainly a little. She says, "I just want you to be good. That's what I'm for."
I think like Emily will like reach up and like stroke this wooden ladybug. I guess. You think I'm worth it? Being good?
Mm-hmm. The ladybug does.
Ooh. I think Emily will like just sigh a bit. I don't know if I'm convinced about that, but I mean, if you really think so. Your idea of me is probably better than my idea of me right now.
The ladybug doesn't disagree with that. Meanwhile, in the graveyard, Jack, Joske, anything else you're doing while you're here?
I'm just tidying up graves.
Yeah, and I think I'm smoking and staring hollowly out into space.
Mhm. Yeah, that was quite a night you had.
Yeah, it was, ups and downs. At some point, either I don't know how much time we have left, but I do want to sit down with Skye.
I think that's coming up. Yeah. So so Skye, you have revived Rosamund Thorne. Where to? Are you bringing her to the checkpoint? That seems like a natural place to tie some threads together and put some operatives on screen together.
Do I think that Dr. Thorne would obey the neutrality of Checkpoint Midnight, or do I think he would just bust in and ruin the place?
It's hard to put anything past the guy. Certainly, Checkpoint Midnight has some resources to protect itself if someone is not abiding by its code.
Okay. I'm in the infirmary,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, doing a better battery of tests than I could do without, now I've got like, equipment and, stuff like that. I'm just being overly cautious. But at some point I don't know, should I bring her with me? Yeah, I think I'll bring her with me, and we'll both have some tea. I try on another cowboy hat, and I sit down.
That's fantastic. So you two are upstairs, enjoying the amenities of Checkpoint Midnight. Rosamund is loving like being awake and alive. She's been in a strange half state for years, and just like the taste of tea is almost overwhelming for her.
Yeah, I wanted to reintroduce things to her slowly, so I'm just trying to, meter it out. But that's where I would be if Joske wants to come looking for me.
Sounds good to me. I'm happy to say, in Checkpoint Midnight. Joske, do you want to come in first?
Yeah, sure. I think I sort of scan the ground floor before going upstairs to look for Skye. Remind me, is Rosalind Thorne there with you?
Yeah, we're both having tea.
You're both having tea. So, I sit down and I order an espresso. And I don't say anything. And you can see, I'm usually pretty well dressed, and I'm a mess. I look like I was in an explosion because I was in an explosion. And I don't say anything, and I wait for the coffee to arrive, and I light a cigarette, and I take a little sip of the espresso, and I say, "How was your night, Skye?" I completely ignore your friend. I don't know who she is.
Right.
The one person who's not an old friend.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I like it better that I don't know who she is.
She's been off the board, right?
Do you use a match or like a lighter?
Match.
Oh, okay. All right, so I light my own cigarette.
If you want it to be a lighter, it can be a lighter. I'm happy to.
Yeah, I want to borrow it from you. Like I want our hands to touch, just for a moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I borrow your lighter from you, and I light the cigarette. And, she'll play with it in her fingers while she talks. I think something miraculous happened tonight.
I raise my eyebrows and I don't look at, but I kind of do a little head gesture towards Thorne, towards Rosamond.
Yeah. I mean, just a slight nod. Yeah.
What was it?
Rosalind, what did you see right before you woke up?
A tree.
That makes sense.
Covered in gold?
Yeah.
And I don't really process that. I'm still looking at you, right? And I think I'd say, and how do you feel about that?
I think I'm going to be punished more for this than I have ever been punished before. Nothing good happens when you do something good.
And I now I look over at Rosamund Thorne, and I kind of I take my time. I really look at her, take in her face and her features and everything, and I look back to you and say, was she worth it? Is she worth it?
Without a doubt.
Are you still holding the lighter?
Yeah, she's fidgeting with the lighter.
So I think I reach out. My cigarette is burned out at this point.
Sure.
And I reach out to take the lighter from you. But I think when I do, I don't take it. I just kind of grip your hand. And I'm offering comfort.
That's a roll plus streamer.
If you're willing to listen.
Yeah, Skye, are you willing to listen?
Yeah, what do you have to say? What do you have to say?
I'm not using words. This is a
sure.
I don't think I have that level of emotional self-awareness to talk to you about this. But I doing good things does not turn out well a lot of the time, and I think I'm just squeezing your hand sort of tightly to sort of to in solidarity, right, in a kind of gesture of wordless empathy.
Yeah, I'm digging that. What did the dice say?
I have to roll them. It's plus dreamer, you said?
Plus dreamer.
I just made my dreamer. Oh no, my dreamer I kept the same. I advanced and changed my stats. We can talk about it later. The dice say 6.
Damn. Can I help out somehow, like Jack normally does?
You can mark a stress to lend aid if you want to, to help Joske to know how to comfort you somehow, right?
I like the fact that I'm trying so hard and I just don't know how to make that.
Sure. Which do you want me to do that or not?
Yes, I would love it if you did that. Tell me how you do it. How do you sort of tell me what you need in the moment?
These games we play, the lives we just destroy, the graves we disturb. It's for a reason, right?
Oh, shit. I don't know. Jack clawed his way out of a grave, or someone else did. So someone disturbed Jack's grave. I know he's not happy about it, but well, that seems to have turned out well for a bunch of people. I clawed myself out of a grave in a different sort of way. A little bit less literally, maybe, but I think it's better that grave was disturbed. I don't believe in reasons. I'm still holding your hand throughout this whole conversation, right?
Sure.
I don't believe in reasons. There aren't reasons, but there are goals, tasks, moments, people, cigarettes. And at that moment, I let go. I take the lighter and I light my cigarette before holding your hand again. And this time, like, very clearly and consciously, right? I say, that's enough of a reason for me most of the time. And I'm going to roll that last die and see what happens. And that turned it into a 7.
Boom.
I hope that would be comforting to you. I'm not sure.
Is Alexi frozen for y'all?
Yeah, I think Alexi is frozen.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Alexi.
Yeah.
He's holding that pose incredibly
go.
well. So.
Welcome. There he.
Oh no, there he goes. Great.
Well,
What do we do now?
Yeah, well, he's got 9 more
told him.
minutes.
Hey, I'm so sorry. Technical difficulties right in the midst of a extremely touching moment playing out. The last word was Joske saying, there are people, there are things, there are cigarettes, and then letting go of Skye's hand at the end there.
So I took Skye's hand back, and this was like, as opposed to the, like, very consciously, as opposed, and I said something like, I hope that's enough, and I rolled a 7 with the extra die. I got the one more I needed.
Okay. Yeah. On a hit, you are both steadied and can clear a condition or a stress.
Yes.
That comfort goes through. Jack, do you also turn up here at Checkpoint Midnight?
Oh yeah. I think Emilie and I are just right up on the horse. Around back, I wave to one of the waiters and kind of just take the reins.
Oh, there has to be a fake, like, horse hitching post outside that you actually get to use as a hitching post.
Oh my goodness! And like Herr Franz like sees you hitching this horse and just like kind
of like the wrought iron railing around the cafe patio.
He just tips a cowboy hat and like chuckles at this. Absolutely. But yeah, Emilie, you coming into the checkpoint as well?
Let me see. I'm trying to think because like her right now her dress is a mess. She's all incredibly worn and tired out. Also, she has a globe of ancient winters in her purse.
Yeah, like underneath the conscience, or
with the bloody knife. With the bloody knife.
With the knife. They're all inside the purse. I think probably Constance probably is just. I think Emily stashed Constance somewhere else, or I think he's holding on to her, so she doesn't have to hang out with the globe of winters and the bloody knife.
Fair enough.
In her purse. I mean, she'll stop by the checkpoint probably just to get a coffee, and we'll head back home just in case anyone wants to talk to her.
Yeah, absolutely makes sense. So you're at the checkpoint. You spot kind of watching you like warily from a corner of the checkpoint. Jack's old friend / stooge, Gordon. He looks a little worse for wear. You could swear those are electrical burns on him. But he's just like keeping a weather eye on you from the corner. Jack, I think when you arrive, you spot someone who looks exactly like Death, but kind of glowing with a sort of life you don't see when Death herself appears to you, seated next to Skye and Joske at the bar, or at the cafe table, wherever they were sitting.
Well, this is some
Cafe table.
surprise. Skye, the last time I saw this young lady, she was in some sort of tank.
You're muted.
Thank you. Damn it. She says, yeah, Rosalind, this is Jack. Jack Rosalind.
Pleasure to meet you.
She says,
Officially.
I remember you.
You do?
You don't?
Why don't you remind me where I know you from?
She kind of says, "Oh, it was another life, I suppose. No need to dredge it up." And it's possible, Jack, that around that time, Lena, catches you by the arm to try to pull you aside here in the checkpoint.
Okay.
Because you had a dossier you wanted to check out.
Yeah.
Are you up to take a look at that?
I'm always up to learn secrets about my past.
Yes. So this is Jack's NKVD dossier. I have let's see. I've put it into our love letters doc. Let me drop a link to that into the chat to make it easy to check out. But I will also read the dossier. May as well. Well, Jack, or should I say Troop, this may be just about the end of the line. Lena has pulled every file the NKVD kept on the Soviet offshoots of the Prometheus initiative. Lots of intel there on the galvanization experiments that brought her and Timofey back to life and left a lot of other corpses charred to nothing. Looks like almost every scientist involved on their end has been executed, not for their abominable work, but for failing some ideological test as Communist Party leadership changed over. Despite the heavily redacted nature of the files, you're able to glean some answers by looking between them and the ones you nabbed from Dr. Thorne's lab. Thing is, it takes channeling the skills of one of your components to pull it off. Who is it? So that's for you, Jack. Who's the like person you have a piece of that you're drawing on for this?
Oh, one of my components. I thought you. Oh, okay, I totally misread that.
Yeah, yes, because you are stitched together. You are mostly Jack Hardesty, but not entirely.
I think it is, strangely enough, the only human leg I have.
That's fascinating. So like is your toe tapping away a little bit as you're kind of like pulling up whatever residual knowledge is down there to be part of your part of your consciousness, right? As you're reading through this stuff. Yeah.
And just for fun, say it was formerly Dimitri's leg. And Dimitri did SIGINT during the war. Alrighty. Roll plus fable, you say?
Yeah, roll plus fable on a 10 plus ask 2 questions and a 7 to 9 ask 1. I'll give you the questions here. Why was I chosen for this project? What makes me immortal and how can I undo it? And where are the other subjects? And on a miss, you'll still ask 1, but your efforts take something out of you, mark a stress and a condition. So you're going to get some information no matter what. The question is it costly, or how much information you manage to get here?
Snake eyes.
Oh no.
Like literally snake eyes on the dice. And fable is at 0.
Okay. You get to ask one of these questions, Jack, and the efforts of deciphering this and possibly the effect of the answer landing on you are going to be costly.
What makes me immortal and how can I undo it?
Yeah. I thought maybe you would ask that question. So reading between the lines, figuring out kind of what Dr. Thorne was getting up to, and what the Russian scientists were drawing from him. It seems like for all of his greatest creations, he had to pull some piece of a god or an angel or an otherwise immortal being into his abominable experiments. So what keeps you immortal, based on the clues you're putting together, is that there is the of immortal night deeply infused into you, and this. Let me say that again. Do I sound better?
Yes.
There is the ichor of an immortal legendary knight deeply infused into you. That's knight with a K, since I know we've had the other type of knight in the mix as well. But this is what makes it so you can't die. Even if your body takes massive damage and you have to be kind of re-prop back up on your feet. The ichor is deeply infused into you, and the immortality that it offers is something that cannot be simply dispelled. For you to give it up, someone else must take it on. Does that sound right for marking a condition and a stress from taking all this in?
Pretty much.
Joske, what I might propose is that we get to take a look at your dossier and then kind of start the next time off by making the roll.
Sounds good to me.
So here at the checkpoint, Scylla finds you again, right? Looks you up and down and says, "Looking delicious as ever, Joske. Here," and drops something in front of you. So I have this written up as well. Your CIA dossier. "Dear Orpheus," that's your American code name, is it not? "Scylla tells you, you won't believe who I had to devour to get you this file," in her usual joking voice. "There is something dark and dried on the folder, though. Inside, you get a clear sense of how long the Americans have been watching you. It looks like the CIA has regarded the dream realm as the next logical arena of warfare in a post-Hiroshima age. They've been keeping track of your work fighting the nightmare Nazi conspiracy for years. And people thought you were crazy. No, this is all deadly real. The CIA knows one important thing you did not. The location of a stronghold in the realm of dreams, where several of the Führer's favorite occultists have retreated to regroup with their otherworldly allies. Time to take the fight to them. And when we gather again, we will have you make a roll to see how taking that fight to them goes. But for the moment, I say let's do end of session moves and call it a wrap on this session of Checkpoint Midnight. How's that sound? Jack, taking a look at the end of session options, any of them jump out at you? Either your ideology or loyalty shifting, someone you've gained advantageous insight over, or telling another operative how you'd take a bullet for them. One of those kind of happened in the session. In case that's interesting on that score.
Hmm.
It's your daddy.
He loves you. He's in Vienna now.
The littlest GM. You gotta write a children's book with that title.
Yeah. Making a little cameo. What do you think of the end of session options?
You know what? I'm just gonna be cheap and cheesy and take another operative until I take a bullet for them.
Yep.
And I don't think I have to describe that.
I think that's Emilie. I think we saw how that works. Emilie, you can lose a stress from Jack's self-sacrificing nature. But let's turn to you, Emilie. Which of these end of session options would you choose?
Not really sure. The thing is, I was leaning the third one as well, but I don't want to undo what Jack just did.
You could take leverage over me.
I could, but I kind of already know your. I kind of already know your. You could take that bullet. I think I will actually. I don't know. Emilie's ideology did not really shift, although George Dixon is a bit of a putz and it's a bit annoying. But that's not enough to shift loyalties.
It is. He is all of those things, and like he rudely interrupted our moment after me getting shot.
That is true.
We'll see next time how pleased he is with your interpretation of his orders. As far as what it means to take down the wards, whether that also means and destroy the mansion and everything in it.
What was he gonna do once the wars? You know what? I might take that XP. Yeah, because I'm accomplishing Malashka's thing, and I have questions for her. So
okay.
and you know what? George Dixon, Malashka is way hotter than George Dixon, for sure. And way more interesting.
This is undoubtedly true. George Dixon is a tired, old man who's been at this for way too long, and is probably 1 week away from retirement, but keeps getting dragged back in. Yeah. Okay. And I see you've open the dossier, so I will prep a dossier from Malashka for you next time. Skye. Any of these end of session moves seem particularly appropriate for you?
One quick rules question. Every time I take an advance, I have to mark on
the
that track.
Entanglements? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I will get to that.
Oh, wow. Have you've taken 3 advancements? Okay, so we've got some outstanding entanglements to cover. That we can do, though.
Okay, cool. I think I have insight into Joske, and I gain leverage over him.
That tracks from my perspective, yeah.
Okay.
And last but not least, Joske, turning to you, what do you choose?
Yeah, I think I have insight into Anna Seidler, or whatever her actual name is, given that that body no longer is of use to her.
The being that was inside Anna Seidler before you dropped the mask. Sure. Yeah, and she's still out there. That works for me.
And just I took another advance that rearranged my stats, and more importantly, I chose my last track on the Western Entanglements going into the last session.
Yeah, so you're going to end up retiring as a Western asset, it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we are getting to that time. We've got the last session coming, and we will see, end game for at least some of these characters and epilogues for them all. Thank you all for playing, and anyone who's been watching along, thanks for joining us as well. See you next time, same station. Until then, stay safe out there.